Okay, I was on mute. All right, actually, I was on mute. Yes, guys. How are you guys?
But I'm fine, sir. But Ahmed hasn't joined me.
Ahmed has not joined yet. I guess he joined and then left, yeah? Or he hasn't joined.
He hasn't joined, sir.
Okay. Anyways, so in our previous class, we were talking about fertilization. So as I told you that events of fertilizations are three. Okay. So the first is the basically formation of gametes in the male and female body. That is called as pre-fertilization. Okay. And then you have fertilization, that is the fusion of gametes, and then it's the post-fertilization event. That is simply the growth of zygote into several stages. Zygote gets converted into embryo, and then later on it keeps on dividing. The cells of it keeps on dividing, and then it forms into a fully developed baby. Right? Okay. So the
Yes, sir.
cell division goes through mitosis or meiosis. It goes through
Yes, sir.
the cell division in this post fertilization event. It will go through
Yes, sir.
mitosis or meiosis.
The music.
Meiosis. Yeah, that is correct. It will go through meiosis and not mitosis. What is the major difference between the two, the Arhan?
Yes, sir.
What is the difference between mitosis and meiosis?
So the difference between mitosis is that mitosis and meiosis is that mitosis is a process where a single parent divides into daughter cells,
Into two
whereas
daughter cells, yeah.
meiosis divides mitosis divides into four daughter cells.
And they are haploid in nature.
Haploid cells, yes, sir.
Oh, they are haploid cells. Why? Because they are having half number of chromosomes in there. Right. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. Okay, so we also talked about test tube babies, right? So in some moments we talked about that oviducts, that is the fallopian tube, is blocked. So hence they are unable to hold the eggs. Okay, so if the fallopian tube is blocked from over here, so how will the sperm fertilize the ovum? The ovum coming from it will not be fertilized, and it will not result into formation of zygote, right? Okay, so in
Yes,
that
sir.
for that purpose we have developed some methods. Okay, so that method is called as in vitro fertilization, in short as IVF, right? Remember, it's IVF. So that we
Yes, sir.
also talked about, right? And do tell me once Ahmed joins. Okay, so what happens in
Okay.
that process? The ovum and the sperm, the ovum that is coming from the ovary, it is taken out, and the sperm of the male, it is taken out, and both of them are fused in the what, in a test tube. Okay, so after a week it is allowed to develop in the test tube in a very well maintained environment. So the zygote that is formed after the fusion of the two gamete cells, it is allowed to develop for a week outside the female body in safe conditions, and then later on it is put back into the uterus of the mother. So in the uterus it is put, and it will embed itself into the wall. This is the wall, and in it will embed itself. See, if there's a diagram over here, it will be better to visualize it. Yes, Ahmad is here. Yeah, that is the diagram I was talking about. Okay, Ahmad. So we were now basically revising what we discussed previously, Ahmad. Okay. So we were talking about test tube baby. So in which what happens? The oviduct is blocked from here. So how it is blocked? The muscles might be too close, due to which the ovum might not be able to pass further. So in for that purpose, in the test tube, the male and female gametes are fertilized, are fused together. And then it is when it is put back into the uterus of the mother, it gets the zygote is getting embedded into the wall of the uterus, and then it will start to grow. All right, guys. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, so in this way, those women can also bear babies, right? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now
Yes, sir.
let's talk about the development of the embryo here. Development of the embryo. So what is embryo? The zygote that is formed after the fertilization process, in which what happens, the male and female gametes were
Suffused.
basically fusing together. So this sperm basically was fusing the ovum here, right, guys? So when the two were fused together, basically the nucleus of the sperm is fusing with the nucleus of the ovum, right? The tail and the middle part is left behind. So this resulted into the fusion of the two nucleuses of sperm and ovum have fused together here, and then this is called as zygote, right, guys? So the zygote form after the fertilization process. Now it will start to divide itself in a repeated manner, and it will form a balls of cell. So see over here, it has formed itself into a ball of cells. And what is this ball of cells? It is basically called as embryo, right? It is
Yes,
called as
sir.
embryo, right? So these cells in this embryo will form different groups, and each group starts developing into different tissues and organs, and this structure which we are talking about, embryo here. So see, some of the group of cells in it will form what? It might form lungs,
Yes, sir.
some of the part will form heart, some of the cells will form another organ. All right, it might form kidneys, some of the cells will form skin, some of the cells will form bones, some of them will form hair. So different groups of cells in present inside the embryo will form into different tissues, guys. Okay, so the embryo, this differentiation of cells will happen only after it gets embedded into the wall of the uterus. Okay, जब ये आपका यूटेरस के वॉल में इम्बेड हो गया, after that several group of cells will start to grow differently. Okay, and they will grow into different organs, right, guys?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now the body parts such as hands, feet, eyes, and ears will start to develop. Okay, so if you see this one, this image over here, yeah, let me just switch to that one. This one over here. See, after 9 weeks, see, structures like eyes and legs can be seen developing here. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
eyes, legs, these structures start to grow. Okay, and as the cell keeps on dividing, other parts become clear. See how a human baby looks after 12 weeks of fertilization. Okay, the legs and ears and mouth and the nose have started to become clear now, right? Okay, guys. So the embryo whose parts can be identified individually is called a fetus. Okay, guys. So at that stage, in which in which the parts of the embryo can be identified, like parts like legs, hands, ears, nose, mouth, is identifiable. We can say that yes, this is the certain part of the human body. Then it is called as fetus. Okay. So let me quickly write down the steps. So first is zygote formation. Okay,
Yes, sir.
the zygote form after fertilization. Fertilization divides itself in a repeated manner. in a repeated manner. Next, what happens? The cells will
So it
then
becomes a ball
embryo.
of cells.
Yeah, it becomes a ball of cells, right? Okay. And in this ball of cells, different group of cells organize them into different functions, like into different forms. Different parts will grow into different organs, right? The cells then form different groups, different groups, and each group will later develop into different tissues, right?
Yes,
And then
sir.
after it has become a ball of cells, one more thing, it is called as embryo. Okay, that ball of cell is simply called as embryo. Okay, Ahmed and Arhan. Now in the third step,
Yes, sir.
the embryo is embedded. Embryo is embryo embeds itself basically into the wall of the uterus. Embedded into the wall of the uterus, right? And then in the fourth stage, what will happen? Parts like
Yes,
legs, nose, hands will start to
yes, sir.
appear. Okay, parts like legs, eyes will start to appear. Okay, and then there's the stage of fetus. So fetus is the stage in which body parts are identifiable, guys. Okay, so in this stage, the embryo is now being called as a fetus, right? So the fetus then completely develops itself and becomes a baby and takes birth as a baby. All right, guys. So in short, this is how the development of the embryos goes through different stages. So in humans, it takes around 9 months, 9 months or 40 weeks around. All right, guys.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, moving ahead, how is an embryo different from a zygote? What is the difference between the zygote and embryo, guys? Yeah, a zygote consists of a
The single cell.
single cell. Yes, Ahmed, are you there or not? Make your presence known.
Yes, sir, I am.
Yeah. Okay. And what are some other differences between the two as well? List some other differences also. Ahmed, you mentioned some more differences.
Differences between
Okay. First, define zygote. Then it will become clear. Just define the two. You will automatically get the answer.
to define the zygote.
Yeah. So how zygote is formed? What is it basically?
Oh, zygote is a cell with an shake type structure.
Zygote is?
Zygote is a cell with an egg type structure.
No, no. Look, zygote is basically a single cell formed after the fusion of sperm and ovum. See the
Oh,
figure over here. See this representation here, which I just told you, na? That is the zygote. Okay,
oh,
and it is formed after the fusion of the sperm and ovum.
yes, sir.
Okay, and I want both of you guys to send me pics of your notes. Okay, while we are having this class, send me the picture of your notes, like how you guys are taking notes of the class right now. Okay, guys. On the number from which you guys get the link of the class, on that number you are required to send your notes while we are having this class right now. Okay, right? You guys are
So
having
right now,
copies with you, right? Yeah, right now. You guys are having copies with you now?
sir, I
Sir, I
don't.
don't have the copy. I take screenshot and then write the note.
Okay, so have you made the notes right now or not? Like not right now, like the for the previous chapter, for the previous class of this chapter, have you made notes?
Conservation. Yes, sir.
You have made notes. Okay, then send
Yes.
it on the number right now. And Arhan, you were telling something?
I don't have the copy.
You don't have the copy right now,
Yes, sir.
but you have made the notes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so after the class, you are required to send it.
Okay, sir.
Okay, like after the class, immediately send it. Okay. Okay, so we were talking about the difference between a zygote and an embryo. So a zygote consists of a single cell, while an embryo consists of more than one cells. So as I told you that in the development of the embryo, zygote keeps on dividing further. There's a continuous division of cell in it. Okay, so please don't get confused between the two. Okay. Now, zygote, as I told you, that it is formed after the fertilization of the male and female gametes, and embryo is formed after the fertilization. While zygote is formed during the fertilization, embryo is formed after the fertilization. That is the difference between the two. Okay, so if someone asks you what happens in the post fertilization event, then you will say that it is the growth of zygote, that is the formation of embryo, guys. Okay, and the zygote which we are talking about, it is happening during the fertilization event, that is the fusion of male and female gamete. Okay, Ahmed and Arhan also.
Yes, sir.
Okay, now zygote has no well defined region or tissues, while embryo which we're talking about, the body, the different groups of cells start to organize differently, and each group develops into different tissues. So the body parts and tissues are defined in the embryo, right, guys? Okay,
Yes, sir.
now based on the way how the organism give birth to their babies, they are classified into two basic categories. One is the egg laying, and one who gives birth to live young ones directly. So take examples of human beings, dogs, cats. They give birth to live ones directly. They do not hatch as eggs, obviously. And then you have another type of animals that lays egg. For example, reptiles. For example, amphibians, fishes, frogs. So they lay eggs. Okay, and the cell division and the growth of the baby takes place outside the body. Right, guys? The cell division, or basically the growth of the embryo, takes place outside the body in oviparous animals. So that is basically the difference between the two categories of animals. Hope that is also clear, right? So see an example over here. So the first one shows an oviparous, second one is of a viviparous animal, right? Now remember the external fertilization that takes place in toads and frogs, Ahmed and Arhan. So in that, what was
Yes,
happening?
sir.
Yes, sir.
The Remember the external fertilization we talked about, especially in the
Yes,
case
sir.
of a frog. So the frog lays eggs in water, then the male frog will come over there and it will release the sperm over the collection of eggs. Okay, so that leads to fertilization of the egg. So the especially talking about this frog here, what will happen? They will grow through a cycle of phase of growth over here. So these eggs are converted into tadpoles. Tadpoles have developed legs in them, and they have got tail as well. Then later on, this tadpole, if you see here over here, now it gets converted into a froglet, and later on, froglet converts into adult. So this process of life cycle of a frog is known as metamorphosis. Okay, that is called as Metamorphosis. So metamorphosis is simply that process in which the young ones will go under drastic changes as they develop into an adult. So their body goes into changes into several phases, right? So looking at a tadpole, you won't be able to identify, like a layman, a normal man will think of it as a fish. Okay, but only a biologist or people like you will be able to tell that no, that it is the one of the stages of the life cycle of a frog. So metamorphosis is simply a stage in which a young one will go under drastic changes, and it will till it develops into an adult, it goes into drastic changes. What are the drastic changes? Take example of frog. First it grows into a tadpole, then into a froglet, right guys? What about human beings? Do we also go through this phase of transformation in our life? Arhan and Ahmed?
No, sir.
Okay. You see over here, is the body part of the adult frog here or the body part of the tadpole? Are they same here? Ahmed, question is to you as well. Is the same? Is the body part same here?
Um, no, sir.
Observe it carefully. No, the legs
Sir,
are legs are quite different now.
Sir, and
yes, sir.
Okay, like the front legs are present in the tadpole, like, but the front leg, it can also be called as its hand. Okay, because it basically uses it as hand, and for motion and for walking as well, for jumping as well. But it has got tail also. It has got tail as well. So it is not having the hind legs. So the body parts during the initial stage and in the adult stage is different in the case of metamorphosis. While in the humans, the body parts remain same from the childhood till the adulthood and till the old age as well. So human beings do not undergo metamorphosis, guys. Okay. Okay. Take example of this silk moth here. That is a that is basically we're talking about a butterfly here. So what happens in this butterfly? It also
sir,
goes through several phases of growth.
sir, do we take the screenshot of this?
Okay, you guys were taking the screenshot, no? Yeah. Then take the screenshot of these ones as well.
Okay, sir.
Okay, starting from here.
Done, sir.
So can we do this and send the notes, including the things we learned today?
Yeah, sure. And one more thing, what I'm going to do that I will be sharing the PDF of the class, but I will be asking from your own handwritten notes as well. Okay,
Oh,
I will
okay, sir.
send you guys the PDF. Okay, you can
Okay,
only
sir.
refer the PDFs for making notes only. Okay, okay, take a screenshot of this one
Sir, but I usually make notes after the chapter is complete. So, uh,
after the chapter is completed. Okay, so if that's the case now, after the chapter is completed, then I will ask you for the notes. Okay, like
okay, sir.
before the next class, you guys are required to send the notes. One more thing, tomorrow won't be a class for you guys. Okay, so instead of tomorrow, on Friday, you guys will be having class. Is it okay with you guys?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's good then. Okay, now take the screenshot of second one.
Done, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, no need to take a screenshot of this one. Now take this one. Especially you have to make two columns and write the differences between the two. Okay, now take the screenshot of this one as well. First, you guys need to write over here. It's a life cycle of frog as well. Life cycle of a frog.
Sir, do we have to draw the diagram?
No, no need to draw the diagram.
Oh, sir.
Okay. All right. Now, metamorphosis. Now we are aware of it. Okay, so in this, basically, the young one goes through different stages of growth. Then another, apart from frog, we have Ahmed, please mute yourself. There's some background noise.
Sorry, sir.
Okay. Now metamorphosis takes place in silk moth as well. So the remember the cocoon from which we obtain the silk, that is basically the silk moth here. So first the female will lay some eggs, some tiny eggs on the leaf of the plant. Okay, on the basically on mulberry leaves, because cocoon because this silk moth grows on mulberry trees. It is found in mulberry trees. So the male will lay some tiny eggs on the leaf. Then it will develop into larva in the next stage, guys. You guys can see the figure over here. Okay, it will develop
Yes,
into
sir.
larva, and then it will change itself into caterpillar. Okay, and then caterpillar will change it into a pupa inside the cocoon. See, this is actually a larva over here. This here is larva. Now larva has now converted it itself into a caterpillar. So remember, see the caterpillars which you guys see on the plant, it is actually one of the phases of the life of the adult moth. Okay, or the butterflies which you see over here, once they were caterpillars, guys. Remember, so caterpillars which are coming out of the coming out of the larva, they feed on mulberry leaves for about 3 to 4 weeks. Okay, and each of them will now spin a fiber around themselves, around their body. They will start to spin a fiber. They will cover themselves with a fiber, right? Okay, so they will stay under that fiber that is called as cocoon. And when they have wrapped themselves under the cocoon, then they are called as what? Pupa. So first it was caterpillar, now it is pupa living inside the cocoon. Okay, now after some time you will see the adult moth will come out of this cocoon. Okay, so in the practice of the silk farming, silk rearing, what is done, you guys know, this cocoon which you see here, lots of cocoons are collected by the silk farmers. They will boil the cocoon in the hot water to obtain fiber from it, silk fiber from it. But this practice has been condemned by the environmentalists. Why? Because it kills the pupa living inside the cocoon. Yes, guys. So it is a practice that is harming, that is basically killing this larva, this pupa over here. Okay. So that's why silk has been not mm, silk is being condemned by so many environmentalists nowadays, right? Okay, then that's it in the chapter. Any confusion so far to you guys?
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay, then let's discuss the anxiety questions. Okay, so the first question in the anxiety textbooks, I guess it's the importance of reproduction in organisms. Yeah. So what do you guys think? What is the importance of reproduction in organisms? Name some
Uh,
of the importance.
Sir, the reproduction is important to continue the generation.
Continue the generation. Okay. Or you can say that the to for the spread of the number of species, number of population of species. Okay. And what else? Arhan?
Sir, reproduction is done to make sure some species do not go extinct.
Yes, good. Some species do not go extinct, and it is simply the process in which organisms give birth to their live ones as well. Okay. Now, next question is process of fertilization, process of events of fertilization in the human beings. Okay. Process of basically fertilization in the human beings. So while answering the question, you will divide fertilization into 3 stages. That is pre-fertilization, fertilization, and then post-fertilization. Okay. Fertilization. My yes, the pen I guess is not working. Anyways, So the fertilization in human beings, it is being divided into three stages. One is the pre-fertilization. What happens in pre-fertilization, Arhan?
The sperm fuse this with the ovum.
No, I'm talking about pre-fertilization, before fertilization. You were talking about fertilization.
Where the sperm gets released into the oviduct.
No, that is also not the definition. Look, fertilization. For fertilization, we require the male and female gametes. So it has to be produced in the male and female body at first instance, doesn't it? Yeah. So first, the male and the female gametes are produced in the male and female body. Okay. For example, when the male reaches the age of puberty, then it starts to produce sperms. The testis starts to produce sperm. And in case of female, at the time of their birth itself, the ovary consists of millions of ovum. But the body is not mature enough to release the ovum and carry the baby, right? So the process of ovulation in them also starts at the age of 12 to 14 years only. Like the ovums are present in the ovaries since the birth time, but their release occurs only when they reach the age of puberty. But that is not the case with males, guys. The sperms are not found in their body since the birth. Its production starts after the during the age of puberty. All right, guys. So first you will talk about pre-fertilization event. That is the formation of male and female gametes. Then you will talk about fertilization. That is the second stage in which the two gametes are fusing. Then you will talk about the post-fertilization, meaning later fertilization, after fertilization. Post means after here. So after fertilization, you will talk about the formation of zygote and then its division. You will talk about basically development of embryo in this one. All right, guys. So that is how you're required to define this one. Okay. Okay. The next question is that have you guys opened the textbook or not? I actually did not took the questions in this slide. Okay. So you guys will have to refer to your books today for the NCERT question. See question number 3, guys, in your textbook. Ahmed and Arhan, open your books. Okay, Arhan. Ahmed, have you opened your book?
Wait, sir, I'm getting the book.
Yeah. Take out your book. Okay. During the class, you guys should be taking out should be having your books in front of you. All right. Okay. See question number 3, Arhan. Read the question.
Sir, wait, sir. The question number 3, right?
Yeah.
Choose the most appropriate answer. A. Internal fertilization occurs 1 in female body, 2 outside the female body, 3 in male body, 4 outside the male body.
Okay. Ahmed, you have also opened your book now?
No, sir, I haven't.
Okay. You haven't got the book with you? Okay. So if you have listened to the question, Arhan and Ahmed answered the question.
Oh, okay, sir.
Internal fertilization occurs in the female body, inside the female body, or outside the female body? Or does it occur inside the male body or outside the female body?
Inside the female body?
Yeah. Okay. Arhan, read the next question.
A tadpole develops into an adult frog by the process of 1. Fertilization, 2. Metamorphosis, 3. Embedding. 4. Budding.
Okay, what is the answer?
Metamorphosis.
Yes,
Okay.
sir.
Yes, Arhan, that is metamorphosis. Okay, do humans also go through metamorphosis, Arhan?
No, sir.
Okay. Yes, Ahmed. Humans do not go under metamorphosis. Why is it so?
Because we get the same genes as our parents.
It's not about genes. It's about the body
So because
parts.
their body parts remains the same by birth.
Remains the same by birth. Okay. Now, the number of nucleus present in zygote is how much? That is the next question, right? Okay. Is it
Yes,
1,
sir.
2, 3, 4? How much nucleus are present in zygote?
7.
No, it's not. It's not 1. If you remember, if you see the figure over here, see how many nucleus are here? 2, no?
Yes, sir.
Okay, one is the nucleus of sperm, one is the nucleus of ovum. So there are two nucleuses. Okay, Ahmed, please mute yourself. There's some background noise coming. Okay, only unmute yourself and you are required to answer. Okay, now the next question is true or false? So oviparous animals give birth to young ones. Is it true or false?
False.
For false. Good. So first question, Ahmed will answer, then Arhan. Each sperm is a single cell. Is it true, Arhan?
Sir, true.
Good. External fertilization takes place in the frog.
False.
False. Is it true? Huh? You answer.
That's true. That's
It's
true.
going to be true. Okay. External fertilization takes place in the frog now. Like the female body lays the egg in the pond in millions of numbers and lakhs of numbers, and the male frog will come and it will release the sperm over the eggs, and then the fertilization takes place in the pond water. Okay. A new human individual develops from a cell called a gamete. Is it true?
That's false.
It's false. It develops from a
Sir, zygote.
zygote. Correct. Egg laid after fertilization is made up of a single cell.
False.
Yeah, that is correct. Egg laid after fertilization is made up of a single cell. So whatever egg which you are seeing, whether the egg of a hen or egg of a fish, so that is, or the egg or what, it is basically ovum. So ovums, since ovums are single cell, so the eggs of hens or whatever animals which lays egg, whether it be fish as well or the frogs as well, they are basically single cell. Okay. Amoeba reproduces by budding. Is it true, Arhan?
That's false. Amoeba
It's
reproduces by fission.
by fission. Good.
Sir, binary fission.
Binary fission. Good. Fertilization is necessary even in asexual reproduction.
Yes, sir. True.
It's true. How is it true? In asexual reproduction, just we talked about amoeba. So amoeba basically splits into two daughter cells by the binary fission. So where was the involvement of fertilization? Fertilization in this, Ahmed? There's no fertilization now. Okay. Look, while you are reading the question or listening to the question, pay attention to it. And if you're reading the question, read at least twice. All right. So
Okay, sir.
fertilization is not necessary in asexual reproduction. Only one, even one parent can reproduce in asexual reproduction. Binary fission is a method of asexual reproduction. Yes, Arhan?
Sir, true.
That is true. Okay, Ahmed. That's a method of asexual reproduction. A zygote is formed as a result of fertilization.
Yes, sir. True.
Yeah. An embryo is made up of a single cell. Is it true, Arhan?
That's false.
That's false. There are more than one cell in it. Okay. Now, differences between a zygote and a fetus. In the class, we talked about differences between a zygote and a fetus. Yeah. Now, here's what is the difference between a zygote and a fetus, guys.
So
See,
can I
here's the.
take?
Okay. This one you will answer, and then Ahmed. Okay. Yes.
said zygote is zygote is the pre post fertilization method,
Yeah.
and it is a method before fetus.
Okay. Let me clear one thing here. Let me correct one thing here. It's not formed in the post-fertilization event. It is formed in the fertilization event itself. It is formed by the fusion of male and female gametes that is happening during the process of fertilization. So post-fertilization event in that embryo and fetus that is concerned with post-fertilization. Okay. Okay, that is clear. Ahmed, is it confusing to both of you, like post and pre-fertilization? I hope it's not confusing.
Kind of.
No, it's not.
Okay. Kind of, is it kind of some confusions in this? Huh, Ahmed?
Yes, sir.
Look what happens now. For fertilization, male and female gametes are required. Okay, so first it has to be produced in the male and female body.
Yes.
So before fertilization. So that is before, here we are calling it as pre-fertilization. So in the pre-fertilization, male and female gametes are produced. Then when the male and females mate each other, then what happens? The male and female gamete fuses. So the fusion of the two gametes, that is called fertilization. Now after fusion, the zygote formed during the process of fusion, it has to develop. Then after fusion is the events after the fusion is called as post fertilization event. Post means after. So in that, the development of zygote takes place and it develops into embryo and then into fetus. Okay, Arhan, you continue.
The fetus is basically the uh, fetus is basically being able to identify the parts of the growing baby.
Parts of the growing baby, like legs, nose, ears, these parts can be identifiable.
Yes,
Okay.
meanwhile, zygote is the formation of the baby.
Yeah, it is the basically fusion of male and female gametes, and it is a single cell. One more thing, while a fetus is a multicellular, it is
Yes,
multicell, right? Okay, so zygote basically its formation will last for a week and then it will develop into next stage, that is into zygote. So the cell remains the zygote remains in the female body for a week in the form of zygote. It remains for a week only and then it develops into embryo. Okay, while fetus, it is almost the last stage of development of the baby. All right. All right, guys. Okay.
it's
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next question, Ahmed. It's the define asexual reproduction. Okay. And describe some methods of asexual reproduction also. Okay. First, begin with asexual reproduction.
Okay, sir. Sir, asexual reproduction is in which new offspring is produced by a single parent,
By a
and it
single
is
parent. Good.
mm,
Okay. Name 2 points or name at least 2 more points.
2 more points. Sure, sir.
Is there fusion of male and female gametes in it?
No, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir.
No. So that is the second point. Define that one.
D-
There is no fusion of male and female gametes. Okay.
oh,
Okay. One more difference. One more special thing about asexual reproduction.
they are the clones of their parents.
Yeah, they are clones of their own parents. Why is it so? Because the number of chromosomes, the type of chromosome remains the same. Okay. Okay. And Arhan, here's a question for you. That does the number of chromosome changes in our sexual reproduction?
No, sir. I
No,
guess it remains the same.
it remains same. Okay, Ahmed, note this thing also that the number of chromosome will remain same. So
Yes, sir.
the parent, whatever the number of chromosomes are in the parent's body, in the daughter cells also the number of chromosomes are going to remain same. Okay, and one more point you guys can add here, that the cell goes under the type of cell division known as mitosis, where the parent cell divides into two. Okay, so remember we also talked about the two types of cell divisions. Okay, now continue, Ahmed.
Yes, sir.
Now next part is give two methods of asexual reproduction.
Um, budding
Good.
and
Example of budding,
example of budding.
like
Wait.
in which organism it happens.
Example of
Okay. Remember about Hydra?
yes, sir. Hydra.
It happens in Hydra, no? So Hydra, they have got regenerative cells for reproduction. Okay. So in the process of budding, what happens? There's a small outgrowth from their body part called as bud. Okay, the bud keeps on growing, and then in later stage it detaches from the main parent. All right, guys. Okay. Now one more example of asexual reproduction.
One more. The amoeba.
Amoeba. Right. And the method is called as
The method is called as binary fission.
binary fission. Good. Okay. And the two types of cell divisions, that is mitosis and meiosis. So mitosis will take place only in the case of asexual reproduction only. Okay. Arhan, read the next question.
In which female reproductive hormone that the embryo gets emitted?
Yeah. So what is the answer?
That's the uterus.
It is the uterus, no?
Okay.
Okay. So once it gets attached to the uterus of the female body, then it will start developing later on, and different parts, different parts of the human body, like the legs, hands, eyes, etc., will start to form. Okay. So when the different parts are formed, then it is called as fetus, right? Okay. And the next question is that what is metamorphosis? So Ahmed, that you have to quickly explain as well.
Um,
Yes, what happens in that? The uh, body of the individual goes abruptly through drastic changes, right? That is basically metamorphosis, which you talked about. Okay, what else? Like, do humans also go through the process?
no, sir.
No, humans do not go through the process of metamorphosis, right? Why? Because since the time of their birth, since the development of fetus, their body parts remain same. Okay, so give two examples of metamorphosis.
Uh, frogs.
Frogs and
Frog and
silk moth. Silk moth. All right. Okay. Now, internal fertilization and external fertilization. That is also clear, right, Arhan?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So that can also be easily defined. Okay. So quickly, in points, differentiate between the two. Just give 3 or 4 points.
Internal fertilization occurs in mother's womb and
Not in mother's womb, in the oviduct.
yes, sir.
Okay.
It has three stages: pre-fertilization, post-fertilization, and post-fertilization, in which the pre-fertilization is the formation of gametes of male and female. Fertilization is the fusion of male gametes and female gametes, and post-fertilization is the formation of embryo and the fetus.
Good. And what are other points? How many egg cells are released?
That
Take example of humans with a reference to human. Explain about the release of eggs.
one.
One egg. And since the fertilization is occurring inside the body, what about the chances of the survival of the offspring?
Yes, sir, can you repeat it?
Since the fertilization is occurring inside the female body, Ahmed, you also listen to the question carefully. What are the chances of survival of the offspring? Is it high or low? Is it high or
Say
less?
it slow. Say it slow.
No, listen again to the question. Since the fertilization is occurring internally in the female body,
Sorry,
it's high.
what?
Okay, no issue.
Yes,
Since
sir.
it's not exposed to outer threats, okay, since it's not
Yes,
exposed to
sir.
outer threats, hence it's safer. Okay, and what about external fertilization?
The external fertilization occurs in amphibians, where they lay their gametes inside the water, which also fuses in the water and creates eggs.
Good.
Uh,
And
Their chances of survival are low since if the water is streaming fast, then the gametes will get carried away and will not fuse.
yes.
And the examples of external fertilization are in frogs
Good. Good.
and
Good. Okay. Okay, that is good. All right. Okay, the question number 10, that is the puzzle. You guys can solve it. Like the process of the fusion of the gametes, it is called as fertilization, right? The type of fertilization in hen, what is it? Is it external or internal?
External.
yes, sir.
The process of fertilization in a hen. Look,
Internal.
it's internal. Okay. The fertilization is happening inside inside the female hen. All right. Okay, like the sperms are released into their uterus and the fertilization takes place and eggs develop inside the body. The development of the baby takes place outside the body. Okay, Ahmed. So here we are not talking about fertilization. So if we were to talk about the development of the embryo, then we would have said that the development of the baby takes place outside the body. So in some organisms, you will say the fertilization might take place inside the body, but the development of the embryo will take place outside the body. For example, hen, right? Okay, the term used for bulges observed on the sides of the body of a hydra.
The bird.
Birds. Okay, eggs are produced in which part? Ahmed? Ahmed, eggs are produced in which part of the female body?
Sir, eggs of female body.
Yeah. Eggs